What's going on YouTube? Owen Watt finally back here with another video. So today I'm going to be going over my top 5 tank lines that you can grind, as whether you're a beginner or you're experienced or whatever you are to World of Tanks. So I'm going to kick things off at number 5, which is going to be where did it go? There we go. Oopsie, not the French tanks, sorry. The British tanks. Now, the first line I'm going to recommend is going to be the British medium tanks. Now, the reason I'm recommending the British medium tanks and light tanks up to tier 5 is because they're extremely beginner-friendly tanks. They, I play the 7-1 and the Action 10 on the test server, so I have experience with them. But starting at the medium one. The medium one is, it's a tier 1, whatever. You play one game in it and you can get to the Cruiser 3, so you don't have to worry about that. And starting at a low tier, you get this 40mm pom-pom, which is like the bane of all low tier tanks. It can like clip anything. It's ridiculous. But whatever, you can skip over that. And then you get to Cruiser 4, which uses the same pom-pom, but then you can upgrade that to this Bofors gun, which is actually a very good gun for a tier 3 light tank. Then you get to the Covenanter, which I use a stock gun on because it's got the highest pen, and you're gonna have to deal with KV2s and OIs and stuff, and yeah, so that's why I would stick with this gun, to be honest. It's got a nice rate of fire. Then you get to the Crusader, which is one of my favorite tanks in the game. This top gun right here is amazing for a tier 5 light tank. Well, when I say light tank, it's not really a light tank. It gets matched up like any other tier 5. Like you're not gonna have to worry about tier 9s, or tier 8, sorry. But this tank is, you get the 6-pounder, which fires 27.3 rounds a minute. My reload's 1.9 seconds right now with my pretty okay crew, I guess you could say. It's not the most accurate tank, but usually I use this tank getting right up close to heavies and just pounding away at them. Whatever. This is usually what I use. I use a spall liner. I use a vents, and I use rammer. I'm not sure why I have a spall liner on this. I shouldn't have a spall liner on this. Okay, well, I would I would recommend using either optics or gunline drive. I'm not sure why I have a spall liner on this, but whatever. Just disregard that. That's interesting. Whatever. Anyway, so moving on, you get to the Cromwell, which is widely known as pretty much the best tier 6 medium tank in the game, or at least one of the best tier 6 mediums. It's very fast, has a very good gun, and it uses and the armor actually on it is pretty good. Like, it's not good, it's not going to save you from anything high tier, but it'll, little tier 4s and tier 5s have trouble penning you sometimes. Then you get to the Comet, and the Comet's a good tank. Kind of like the Cromwell at a higher tier. The turret on it's pretty troll. The gun's good, it's got great gun depression, pretty quick. The Centurion 1 then is your next tank, which is, I like it. It could be better, but let's see here. Got good gun depression. The turret's troll. It's got high pen. The rate of fire could be better, but it's got high pen. Okay damage, I guess. But yeah, it's a pretty good tank. And then you get to the Centurion 7-1, which is a very good tier 9 medium tank, which you can fit the 105 on this tank, and it's very good. It does not have a good rate of fire. It's not the quickest, but it's got good gun depression and pretty good turret armor, and the hull armor on it actually is not horrible. Then you get to Centurion Action 10, which is, again, pretty good. It's not bad. It's not going to be the worst after the buffs, and they removed the FV4202. It's got good gun depression. It's fairly faster. It's a bit quicker, 53 top speed compared to the other tanks in the line, but all in all, this line is very good for beginners because it's got good gun depression. You're pretty quick up to like tier 8ish, you're quick, and then you're never really slow. You're just mediocre speed, and then it gets pretty quick again at tier 10. Yeah, so good gun depression, good guns, all around great tanks. So moving on to the next line, I would recommend you grind as a beginner. that is going to be the American Heavies. Now, obviously, I have not played. Well, obviously, I mean, I have played. I have played these tanks on a test server because who hasn't played a T1 10E5 or an M103? But these tanks are phenomenal tanks. The T2, the M2, the M3 lead. The M3 lead is actually good. I don't know why people complain about it, just because it doesn't have a turret. The gun on it's ridiculous. You got to play it more like a TD. The gun on it's very good for a tier 4. The T1 heavies is pretty good. The M6 is one of the better tier 6 heavies. T29 is probably the best tier 7 in the game, and one of the best tanks tier for tier in the game. The T32, in addition to the T29, is extremely good. The only thing I don't like about the T32 is the pen is pretty trash on it, but it's got outstanding turret armor, and it's quick. Then you get to the M103, which is a hard nut to crack. It's got a good gun, it's quick, it's got good turret armor, it's got good hull armor. And then you get to the mother of all face-hugging vehicles, the T1 10E5. This tank is ridiculous when you face hug. The armor is unbelievable. It's got a great, very fast-firing 120, and it's all around. This is a great line for beginners. Now, moving on to the next line. We are finally going to land at the Russians. So, most people would recommend the IS-7 line to play first, but personally, I would play the IS-4 line first. Now, the reasoning for this is there's a lot more armor here to save you when you're a beginner, because more often than not, you're going to be making mistakes when you're a beginner, and you're going to need some armor to save you. Now, don't get me wrong, these tanks have armor. The IS is pretty good armor for tier 7. IS-3's got pretty good armor. T10's got bad armor. IS-7's got pretty good armor, but nothing matches the armor of these heavies here. Starting at tier 2, 3, and 4, they're all pretty good. The KV-1, as everybody knows, is phenomenal. The T150 is also a very good tank. It's got very heavy armor for a tier 6, and it's a nice tank. The KV-3 is one of my favorite tier 7s. It could be better, but it's not bad. But then you get to the KV-4, which is one of my favorite tier 8s in the game. It's a phenomenal tank. It's got great armor. The gun is pretty good. It's got high pen. It just could use better rate of fire. But then we move on to the ST1, which was pretty much my favorite tier 9 tank I played. The gun on it's the gun on it is the IS-4's gun. It's a phenomenal tank. The armor is ridiculous on it for a tier 7, or for tier 9 I should say. And yeah, this is a great tank. And then you get to the IS-4, which is amazing. And I don't know why they make you I don't understand why they make you buy this gun, because you have to go through the ST1 to get it, but whatever. The IS-4 has 160 millimeters of side armor, and which means it has more side armor than it does front armor. So the way you're gonna play this tank is to bait enemies into shooting your side, because it's ridiculous. You basically over angle the IS-4 so people shoot you, and then you are good to go because there's no way they're getting through it. As you can see, my IS-4, my armor use efficiency is 1.14, which is very good. It's very easy to bounce shots in this tank. It's just a great all-around tank. The gun on it's very good. The armor on it's very good. It's not the slowest. It could be quicker, but it's not the slowest. But yeah, overall, that's probably one of my favorite lines to play. It was the second tier 10 I ever got, and I have no complaints about the grind. It was phenomenal. Moving on to number 2, right? We're on number 2. Is going to be the Russian mediums. Now, the reason why I'm putting the Russian mediums at number 2 is because, well, you'll find out when we get to number 1, but the way I would go about playing this line, I mean, I played the Rudy, which is basically a T-3045, but better, and it's a good tank, but T-34 is okay. I mean, to be honest, I would much rather play the A44. The 416 is pretty much the best tank I think I've ever played tier for tier. It's ridiculously overpowered with its gun. It has the same gun as the T54 and the 432 at tier 8. Rate of fire is great. It's incredibly stealthy, and it's super slim, so it's hard for people to hit you. It has terrible gun depression, though. That's one thing you gotta learn with these tanks. They don't have good gun depression. But personally, that's not how I got to the 140. I went through the old, this used to be the KV-1S, for the newer players probably won't know this. This tank used to be up at tier 6, KVD5 never existed, KV-1 went into the KV-1S, the T-150, and the KV-2, and the KV-1S used to have the gun of the IS at tier 6. It was pretty ridiculous, but it was so much fun. But then I split off into the KV-13, because from the KV-13 you can get the T-43 and the IS, so I figured, hey, 2 for the price of 1, why not? So I got the KV-13, and I recently bought the KV-13 back, and the KV-13 is, now I'm learning to really, really enjoy it. Its armor it's basically has the same armor as the IS, so it's pretty ridiculous there with that, let alone the great gun. It's quick, it's got good armor, it's quick, it's got a great gun. Yeah, it's a phenomenal tank. I have no complaints about it, except maybe the gun depression. The gun depression is pretty bad, but you're gonna have to get used to that. But then you move into the T-43, which I liked. I liked the T-43. It had good gun depression. The gun was good, but I like the KV-13 more. Then you move into the T-44, which personally I absolutely despised. It was probably one of my least favorite tanks I think I've ever played in the game. It's just, I really hated this tank. But then you move into the T-54, which I didn't play very well in because this is my first tier 9 and I was a noob and I sucked at the game, and yeah, but I would definitely go with this gun, the faster firing gun. It's you're gonna take less pen, but it's just, it fires so quick. It's great. And it's got much better gun handling and all that good stuff. And you could always shoot the heat rounds that have 330 pen, which is phenomenal. The armor on it's ridiculously good when you're top tier. Like, no tier 7's really going to get through you. The turret armor is very good as well. And then we get to the 140, which is a beast. I love the 140. And the same goes for the 62. I mean, they're basically the same tank. The 140 gets more gun depression. The 62 gets more turret armor. But I love the 140. It's a great tank. It shoots very, very quick, high DPM. The armor's not really going to save you. The turret armor's pretty good. The armor's not really going to save you, though. But yeah, I mean, all the Russian tier 10 memes, you can't really go wrong with any of them. The 430's got the highest DPM and the most armor. The 140's got the most gun depression. The 62 has the most turret armor. It's they're all fantastic tanks. You can't go wrong with any of them. And finally, for my #1 pick at the best line to play as a beginner, is going to have to go to the Germans. And now that we scroll over, I would definitely recommend either playing basically I have 2 lines. One of the 2 tier 10 German TDs, which I both recently picked up, and I wish I played them sooner. The German TD I mean, personally, I would probably start with the armored TDs, at least more heavily armored TDs, than the lesser armored TDs, just because armor, again, will save you. But all the tanks in this line are phenomenal. Like, starting at the Hetzer is ridiculously good. The Marder 38T's got a good gun. But anyway, the Stug 3G's an animal. The Jagdpanzer 4 is it's actually a pretty good tank. Once you learn to play it, you gotta learn how to play this tank, and then it's a great tank. Jagdpanther is phenomenal. The gun handling is ridiculous on it. Jagdpanther 2's got an insanely strong superstructure, and it's quick. It could have more camo, but it's okay. The gun on it's great. The Jagdtigers, again, very boss tank, and the Jagdpanzer 100 is beast once you learn how to play it. I mean, the first few games I had in this tank was awful. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, and I got stomped. But then after the first 5 or 6 games, I learned how to angle the armor in it, and it's just an animal now. The damage is ridiculous. The armor is very good. Yeah, but then talking about the lesser armor TDs, the Toaster, of course, very good. They all have great guns. The Toaster's very good with the gun. Nashorn's very good. The Saint Emil is pretty, or the Stur Emil, I don't know why I always say Saint Emil. The Stur Emil is actually very good. Well, not very good, I wouldn't say very good. It's got very good gun depression. The gun on it's phenomenal. I mean, it's very slow, and it has no armor and low camo, so you gotta keep that in mind. So basically, I like to play this TD, on the hills, and hopefully there's no already. If there is already kind of out of luck, I would free XP this gun as quickly as possible because this gun is like unbearable to play at tier 7 when you have to go against tier 9. So I would research this gun as quickly as possible. Then you get to the RHM, which is a absolute beast. I love the RHM. The RHM is pretty quick. It had no armor, obviously, but it's very stealthy. I ran the 12.8 for a while, and then I started running the 15 centimeter. That was before I had the ISU, so I was like, oh, yes, I love doing this much damage. But then I got the ISU, and I was like, oh, this gun sucks. But I would probably, if you're new, I would stick with the 12.8 because it's got higher pen, so it'll save you a little bit more. You don't have to aim as much, and it's more accurate, obviously. Then you get to the WT Aufpanzer IV, which is, I really learned to like this tank a lot. The gun on it's phenomenal. You just gotta play it as a sniper. It is a sniper. It is not a brawling TD. You have to sit back, and you will do very well in this tank. And then you get to the grill, which is very quick. It stabs quickly. You can get in and out. It's in and out of fire very easily because it's so quick. It's got a great gun, insanely accurate, very good gun handling, and it's got a half, I don't know what's the degree. Let's check the degree real quick. The gun rotation, it goes 50 degrees one way, 50 degrees the other way, which is pretty good. The other tanks, these two both have turrets, which you can't really beat turrets, but it's very good. It's not, I mean, it could be stealthier, but it's not that bad. It doesn't have armor, so you just gotta know that. But the aim time is 1.5, which is ridiculous, and it has 8 degrees of gun depression, which is something, a force to be reckoned with. Okay, so those are my 5 lines that I would pick, or I guess 6 that I would pick if you were a new player coming to this game. But now I'm gonna go over a couple lines that are misunderstood in this game, and lines you probably shouldn't go for and stay away from as a new player. So the first line that I would say you should stay away from as a new player is gonna stay in the German line, and that's going to be the German heavies, both German heavy lines. Now the reasoning for this is they are tricky tanks to play. Starting at tier 2, the Panzer II is actually pretty fun. It's got a lot of armor for a little tier 2. Panzer IIIe, I don't really remember that tank, to be honest. The DW2 is garbage. The 3001H has 0 armor. Like, the armor is so bad on this tank. But the gun is pretty good, and it's got good gun depression. The 36 is eh. But the Tiger 1 is a very misunderstood tank, and when I first played this tank, I was a complete noob, and I sucked at it, and I hated it, and I sold it, because I didn't know how to play it, because this tank is not a heavy tank at all. It's nothing like a heavy tank. The only thing it has that is heavy tank-like is the hit points. Everything else is not like a heavy tank. The gun is of like a medium tank. It fires very, very quickly for the damage output. It puts my reload in it's I think 5.8-ish, something like that. I don't know. I'll check that later. 203 pen is pretty good. It's on the upper end of the tier 7s for penetration. And 240 damage, you can work with it. It's not the best for heavy, but it works, especially when you do not play this tank as a heavy tank. That is the first rule of the Tiger 1. You do not play it as a heavy tank unless you're top tier. You can kind of side scrape and bully some lower tier tanks with your hit points, but if you are mid tier or bottom tier, you do not play this tank as a heavy tank. It is not a heavy tank, and it never will be. In terms of low tier games, you want to play it as more of a medium / sniper, very accurate. Yeah, I mean, I would say second, third line. You sit back in a bush, set up your camera, and just go to town and just snipe the hell out of people. In terms of that's why, because people get to the Tiger 1 all excited because it's such an iconic tank, and it is not a heavy tank. It's not the tank they think it's going to be, and they get wrecked in it, and that's why it's not a line I would recommend. The Tiger 2, kind of the same thing, except you have more armor, you have much more armor. The gun depression's good on it, the gun's pretty good on it. I would probably, it's not one of the best tier 8 heavies, but it's up there. It's slow. It could be slower, or more slow. But yeah, it's not too bad. I like it. You just gotta side scrape in it, but you can't over angle because your side armor is very weak. Then you get to the E75, which is an animal. It's like ridiculously well armored. This is like the one tank in this line I think is great for new players, which if you want to free XP through everything up to tier 9 when you're first starting out, if you can like grind out like 400,000 XP on a T2 light or something like that and just get there, you go right ahead, because the tier 9 is very forgiving, fantastic armor all around. It's pretty quick, it's got a great gun that stings hard, and it's high pen, high damage, so yeah, it's great. And then you get to E100, which is a very heavily armored tank that gets misunderstood sometimes. You really gotta angle this tank well, make sure you don't give up your lower plate, and you'll be golden in the E100. It's a great tank. I'm pretty sure they're buffing the pen in it soon, which is very much so needed because the pen's very bad in this tank. Now, in addition to this line, I would say you should not run any of the French tanks as a beginning player. Now, why is that? Because autoloaders. Newer players should not deal with autoloaders right off the bat. They're tough to deal with, and they're good once you can master them, but once when you're not accustomed to autoloaders, or when you don't know how to play autoloaders properly, you will get smacked, which is what happened with me in the 5120. I had no idea how to run the 120mm on this tank, and it was just it was ugly. I didn't really like it. I got smacked all the time. It was just it was not a pleasant experience for me. But then once you learn how to play it, I love my 50B now. The 5100 is a great tank. The tier 7 is actually pretty good. The ARL 44 is okay. But in terms of the light tanks start getting good at the 1390. Personally, I didn't like the Batchat AP. The Batchat 25T is a well-known assassin, but I would stay away from autoloaders in general. Same with the Foch line, because this line got nerfed into oblivion. There's no point in even playing it anymore. But yeah, those are the lines I would recommend, and the lines I would recommend staying away from as a beginning player. And if you're interested in artillery, I know my commander is going to get mad at me for saying this, but I would probably go with the Americans to start out with as one of your beginning lines. That or the French. I know the French is a very good line. It depends what you want. If you want accuracy, go with the French. If you want alpha damage, go with the Americans. I would stay definitely away from the Germans and the Russians, just because they are not very good. The Russians, the tier 10 Russians, pretty good, but other than that, I didn't like any of the Russian already. But the French are very fast, very accurate. You can relocate quickly. They fire quicker. The Americans put out a lot more damage. And they're known for having wide firing arcs. Once you like the M41, the T30, the M37, all these tanks have super wide firing arcs. Like you can aim very far side to side. So I would go with them, and I would stay away from the German already. They're not very good, and I would stay away from the Russian already because they're not very good. They're pretty fun. Like the S51, I had good fun in, but I would just stay away from it. I played these on one of my other accounts, and it's just it wasn't worth it. But yeah, I would probably stay away from the Chinese when you start out, because their gun oppression is really bad and it's very frustrating for a new player. Swedes, I don't know, I haven't even dabbled really in the Swedes. I got to the 6 and I haven't really started it. It's up to you if you want to play the Weeaboo tanks. I don't really like them much. The medium's pretty good up here towards tier 10. The heavies kind of suck once you get to tier 10. The Czechoslovakian tanks are very good. The TVP 5051's got a deadly autoloader. I've heard the VTU sucks. The 34100s and the Skoda T25 is very good though. And then finally with the British, I would probably stay away from these TDs. These TDs, the FE 4005 is just a garbage FE 215B1A3. I haven't really played these much yet, though I'm hoping to get one soon. Stay away from the Churchill GC. The British heavies, the tier 9 and tier 10 are both very good. The tier 7, tier 6 are both kind of suck. The 6 is awful. I'd skip over the 6 if I were you. The BP is okay if you can angle it properly. The Carnarvon I heard is awful, but it's got a good gun. The Conqueror is pretty good, and the 215B is a monster, but they're going to be replacing it soon, unfortunately. The FE304 is fun, by the way, so I'd get an FE304 if I were you. They're very good fun. So, yeah, I would probably stick away from the Russian TDs to start out with. They're good fun. Maybe as like a second line to play. But yeah, I'd probably go with a turreted tank to start out with when you're a beginner. Other than maybe the German TDs, because these German TDs, as I said before, they're very forgiving. You get good armor, good gun handling. But yeah, so thanks for watching. This has been the lines I would recommend to a new player and the lines I would not recommend to a new player. Yeah, so check out my channel for some more content, and I'll see you guys next time.